Alright guys, we got something new. A new series that we're going to be taking a look at. This is the Theoreticus Heresy. It's done by 40k Theories. This is a request from Patreon. I'm going to start doing these maybe once per day if I can do them. They're only about 5 minutes long per. So we'll do them one at a time and just go through the whole series. Now there's about 42 of these, which is lengthy. But in any case, I'm going to just take my time and enjoy these. And I love theory crafting. So, yeah, we're just going to take a look. Here we go. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's a little bit of noise in the background. There's nothing I can do about it for right now. It just is what it is. Sorry.
The triumph of Ulanor. The Emperor's forces have driven back and defeated the forces of the biggest orc warlord in the sector. But the time comes for the Emperor to return to Terra to complete a secret project. To this end, he decides to appoint a War Master to lead the armies of the Imperium in his name. Initially, he considers Horus, but decides that it might drive a wedge between him and his brothers. For it was known that Horus was the most beloved of the Emperor's sons. He decides to pick someone else, a brother whom the others would respect and honour. A man who would become a leader amongst leaders. The Emperor chooses the angel Sanguinius.
Okay.
Sanguinius, shocked at his decision, respectfully declines. He argues that he should not be War Master, for he believes himself too emotional to be able to handle the stresses of commanding every fighting force in his father's Imperium. Sanguinius suggests Dorne, for Dorne was a great warrior, stoic, noble, even if he did seem emotionless at times. Dorne had the shoulders that could bear the weight of an empire. The Emperor considers Sanguinius' request before agreeing.
Really?
And Dorne takes up the title of War Master. Near the eastern fringes, close to the realm of Ultramar, the Ultramarines finished their compliance of the small system of Kutas, driving to extinction a violent Xenos race known as the Qatari. It was while on the main world of the system, Kutas Prime, that the Ultramarines' forces discovered an ancient artifact known as a Black Oculus. The Qatari seemed almost desperate to protect this vast relic of black stone. It was engraved with what looked like some kind of Xenos creatures dancing and convorting around the hieroglyphic script. Against his legion's wishes, Guilliman, as a man who loved ancient history, felt compelled to study the artifact. The Ultramarines' attempts to remove the Oculus were in vain. It seemed embedded into the very bedrock of the planet, and were not moved by crane nor by melter charge. He became obsessed with the Oculus, much to his first captain's chagrin. Soon, he began to hear voices from the artifact that no one else could. They were speaking directly to him. The artifact was speaking directly to him. A faint glow emerged from what appeared to be an engraving of an outstretched hand. Upon touching it, he felt as if his soul had left its mortal frame. He was in a realm of glowing iridescent colours, and could make up the form of two figures coalesced within the chaotic vortex. One avian, one feminine. These beings told Guilliman everything. The truth of his father, of his origin, and the source of his powers. They showed him that gods were real, and the imperial truth was a lie. The creatures also told Guilliman that he and his brothers would become extinct following the Great Crusade, the same fate as the Emperor's previous Thunder Warriors, and that a new force will replace them. Guilliman felt his soul return to his body and fell to his knees, and began to weep. Everything he knew was a lie. a shard of the oculus broke off and landed in front of him, in the shape of an 8-pointed star. Upon returning to Macragge, Guilliman would learn that his close friend Rogal Dorne had been appointed as the new War Master. Dorne was one of Guilliman's dauntless few, the brothers that Guilliman himself could trust with anything. He needed to inform his brother that their father had lied to them about everything. He would keep the star he recovered close to him, and ordered his artisans to forge a new set of armour for him, with the 8-pointed star imposed over his father's Aquila.
So I'm going to talk about that one, and then I'm going to do episode 2. Instead of doing one episode at a time, I'll do 2 at a time, maybe 3. Okay, so Rogal being the one to turn on the Emperor is going to be a little bit different. Rogal lacked the ambition, so I'm wanting to see where he goes with this. Rogal didn't have the outward ambition that Horus did, and for basically him to take Horus's place is kind of different. He didn't have that. He didn't have it like Horus did. Now, Guilliman, as a selection to be pretty much the Lorgar of this, is going to be odd, to say the least. But I want to see where he goes with it. I'm interested. So let's go ahead and take a look at episode 2. And here we go.
Deep within the Davin system, War Master Rogal Dorne received word from his brother, Rebute Guilliman. Guilliman requested that Dorne come and see him on the world of Kutus Prime. Dorne initially declined, for he was too focused on fighting their father's wars. He had sent the Blood Angels to the Vespas system to liberate the human populations from their Xenos dictators, and had ordered Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children and Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands to apprehend their brother, Conrad Kurz, whose atrocities needed investigating, and if need be, answering for. Guilliman ordered one of his captains, Varus Caspian, to travel to Dorne's flagship, the Phalanx, entrusting him with the shard of the Oculus. Caspian was ordered to deliver the shard to him at any cost, for Dorne needed to know the truth about everything. In the Vespas system, Sanguinius and the Blood Angels would fight numerous battles on the worlds that had fallen under the thrall of an unknown Xenos species. They were tall, lithe creatures with large leathery wings, like demons of legend. The Blood Angels could find no traces of humanity, though, except for empty hab blocks and bleached bones. The Blood Angels would fight for weeks against the Xenos, and, eventually, Sanguinius and his children forced the remaining Xenos warriors left upon the final world into what appeared to be a temple. Upon entering the temple, there was no sign of the Xenos. Sanguinius and his men became awestruck at the sight before them. The walls of the temple were beautifully adorned, painted with murals and decorated with vast jewels and gold leaf. Vast pillars were erected around the temple, each one with an item of jewellery made from gold, silver, platinum, and various other unknown yet beautiful metals. Enthralled by the sheer beauty, Sanguinius and his men were distracted long enough for the Xenos to launch their final, desperate assault. The Xenos were wiped out, but not before taking a heavy toll on the Astartes. Sanguinius ignored the fallen corpses of his men, and approached what appeared to be a mirror for how reflective its surface was. As he took hold of it, he could feel its inviting warmth through his armoured fingers. He instructed his men to take the remaining items back to their ship, while the temple itself, like all places of worship throughout the Great Crusade, was to be destroyed. The jewellery would rest in the ship's reliquary as trophies. It later transpired, thanks to information garnered from Blood Angel's patrols sweeping the system, hunting down any possible Xenos survivors, that the human populations were rounded up like cattle, and either butchered, devoured, or processed into what could only be described as some kind of narcotic. In the days that followed, Sanguinius found himself spending more and more time within this flagship's reliquary, admiring his new trophies, donning a necklace here and a ring there. He smiled to himself as he found himself finding joy at how beautiful he looked with them. Slowly, he found his senses were becoming heightened whilst wearing the jewellery from the temple. His reflexes were seemingly faster in the training cages, and blows he suffered in sparring matches gave him no pain, but joy. He began to act as if he was addicted, but he couldn't help it,
I did not
because
see
it
this
gave the
coming.
angel so much pleasure.
You know, when I was listening to that, I did not expect Sanguinius to be the one in his theory craft to be the one to fall to Slaanesh, this is what appears is happening right now. It appears that Slaanesh is going to be the one to take Sanguinius. I always thought it would be Khorne. If I could have assumed it, it would have been Khorne, just because of the gene seed flaw within the Blood Angels. But that's going to bear some looking at in the long run to figure out exactly what's going to happen with this. In any case, this is interesting. This is very interesting, and I'm going to keep on watching just to see where he's going to go with this. So far, we have Guilliman taking the place of Lorgar. Dorne takes the place of Horus, and Sanguinius takes the place of Fulgrim. Now, does this mean Perturabo's going to be the defender of Terra? That piece of shit. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing up. I'm going to put his information down below right next to my own, and I will catch you guys next time.